Sunday is Rosh Chodesh Nissan. Shabbat is Pashat HaChodesh. Sunday Rosh Chodesh Nissan. So just a couple of halachot, as we only have this Sunday and next Sunday, the last two Sundays before Pesach. So halakha number one. You're being recorded, Hakam. The show must go on. Thank you, Jacqueline. B'chol Chodesh Nisan, the whole month of Nisan, en noflim al penehim. We don't say tahanun, ana. Why? Hey, why don't we say ana and tahanun the whole month of Nisan? There's 2 months we don't do it. Tishrei and Nisan. Tishrei we understand. Most of Tishrei is the holidays between Rosh Hashanah, Kippur we say Sukkot. So Tishrei, you can say it makes more sense. But Nisan, why the whole month of Nisan there's no ana? What's the reason? And so he quotes here. Really, the Kaf HaChaim brings it as well, and I'll read it to you. Really, the whole month of Nisan is all holidays. The Lord of Nisan. Rosh Chodesh Nisan is next Sunday, as you know, as your father's your side. Yeah. So the whole month of Nisan is no tahanun. Why? Why? That's the whole month gets a free ride. Judgment?
It's connected, so if you don't mind, I say that when my father passed, I went to Israel and I had the book of Abu Bakr say, Sefer Kotablu, and he says, "En maspidin."
Nisan.
I had a problem because I wanted to say a few words.
You can.
Then he says on the bottom,
don't cry. Yeah, you can do it. I did it before. You can do just don't make crying and all that. You know? Yeah. Okay, so what's the reason? The reason is because the whole month are days of happiness. In the past, however, the present, the atid in the future. And I'll explain. The first day of Nisan, our Mishkan was erected. The 12 tribes, the 12 leaders each brought their tributes the first 12 days of the month of Nisan back in the desert. And so Prashat Midbar, right? And so the first 12 days of Nisan were all, each tribe brought their korban. And it was a holiday, every single day, it was a holiday for that tribe. Imagine the day that you brought a korban to the first Beit HaMikdash, the first temple. So it was a holiday for you. Well, Maharat, and the Maharat, the day after this, which was the 13th of Nisan, Haya Yom Isru Hag Shelahim. It was Isru Hag of them. What's Isru Hag? Isru Hag is the day after. You know the source for Isru Hag? It's very interesting. The source, Yari, the source for Isru Hag, I always do it. And both you guys are in the same room. It's you and you. We say in we say in Halel, Isru Hag ba'abotim akarat hamizbeach. What does this mean? Do we know what this means? Moshe, you say it every single time we say Halel. What are we saying? The cloud. What does it even mean? The Hebrew.
What it means?
Yeah. What does it mean?
It's shocking.
Huh? Oh, clothes. Yeah. Shackle. I thought you said shuckle. You know what shuckle is? Yeah. Yeah.
With the big rope,
with thick things. So the source for this is Gemara Sukkah, page 45. So the Gemara says, Kol ha'oser, now I might not quote it. Thank you, Esther. God bless you. The Gemara says, Kol ha'oser, I might not be verbatim. The general paraphrase. Kol ha'oser et ha'hag, it's ki'ilo bana bama l'kadosh baruch hu. It's as if he built a mizbeach. Kol ha'oser et ha'hag. Anyone who makes the hag forbidden, what does this mean? Shneimar isru. I'm just asking. I'm not saying anything. I'm not telling what. I'm not saying it's Isur. It could. It is. I'm just asking you. Like if a person reads this Gemara, Kol ha'oseh et ha'hag le'atzmo, someone al atzmo. It looks like if you're right. I'm just saying. It looks like if someone said if you make the holiday forbidden or tied to yourself, it's as if you brought a mizbeach to Baruch Hu. Shneimar isru hag ba'abotim al kanot mizbeach. What does this mean? So Rashi over there says two pshatim. Rashi says Kol ha'oseh means tied. Shackled is a good word also, but also really means to tie, like a string, right? That's why mutar and asud. Mutar means to untie. Yeah, tied up. Yeah, correct. So kol ha'osed isru hag. Isru tie something. Hag on hag, which is always Sukkot. No, hag is always Sukkot, right? V'samachta b'hagecha, Sukkot. So Isru Hag, tie something on the Sukkot, Ba'abotim, with Anaf Etz Abot. Anaf Etz Abot. Anaf Etz Abot. Tie with the species of the Lulav, Al Kanot Mezbeach, on the, so that's what they used to do. They used to put the Anavot on the Minim, on the Mezbeach. Yeah, that's what it means. So that's the first pshat in Rashi. And Rashi says, Veyesh Omrim, it means the day after the holiday. This is the source for this whole Isra Hag thing. People say, Rashi Yesh Omrim, this day after the holiday. And how does it work? Isra Hag ba'abotim. I think it means you tie down yourself to the holiday. Ba'abotim. In this pshat of Rashi, what does abotim mean? Something about thick also. Yeah, Sukkah 45. And then while he's getting that, I'll tell you what the Ben Ish Chai says. You know what the Ben Ish Chai says in this? He says, another pshat. Kol ha'oseh et ha'hag, someone who ties himself down. And I want, maybe Anif can find it because I want the exact lashon in the Gemara. 45a on the top. It should be like the second line on the top. Yani. Let's wait for it. In the meantime, I'm going to keep going. V'yom Yudala ben Nisan, the 14th day of Nisan, who Erev Pesach is Erev Pesach. So the first 12 days of the month of Korbanot, which is holiday every single day for each tribe. And the 13th day is Isru Hag. And the 14th day is already Erev Pesach, which is a holiday. So the first 14 in a row is a holiday. And then you have 7 days of Pesach. So the first 21 days straight in Nisan is holidays after holidays after holidays. And the 22nd of Nisan is Isru Hag of Pesach. That's 22 days. What about the rest of the what about the rest of the month? So Moshe, you said Chodesh HaGeulah, it's kind of right, but it's not fully right. It's not the whole month gets a pass. Literally every day in the month is a holiday. Literally every day in the month is a holiday. So you got the whole build up.
What's the source?
We were saying right now, the Kafahim brings it down. The first 12 days were the Korbanot. That's a holiday for each one. Isru Hag was the 13th. The 14th Erev Pesach. No Tachanun Erev Pesach. Then you have Pesach 70 is 21. 22. Isru Hag for the Nisim. It should be right here on the top. Maybe it's not 45. The Isru Hag for the Nisim. Yeah. With me? And then Pesach is 7 days, that's 21 days. And then Isru Hag of Pesach is the 23rd. The 23rd of Nisan is Isru Hag of Pesach. And then, what about the rest of the month? That's the question mark. Here it is.
Maybe building up to Shavuot.
45B. I'm so mad at myself. It's 45B. Huh? No, it's not. We're being recorded now, so so what about the last? We have to account for the last week of Nisan. Okay, but here's the Gemara in Sukkah 45B. 45B. It says over here. It is the second line. אמר רבי ירמיה משום רבי ישיבה בן יוחאי, ורבי יוחנן משום רבי ישיבה המחוזי, משום רבי יוחנן המקותי. כל העושה איסור לחג, כל העושה איסור לחג, באכילה ושתייה. Someone who makes, it sounds like isur. He makes it forbidden on the holiday with eating and drinking. The Hashem considers it כאילו בנה מזבח, as if you brought a מזבח, והקריב עליו קורבן, and you brought a קורבן שנאמר, איסרו חג בעבותים על קורבנות המזבח. Rashi says, איסרו חג, איסור לחג, איסרו אגודה של לולב, tie the לולב, בעבותים בהדס, שהוא עבות של גימל בדין כליאה, that's what she says, right? I don't know if it's a what. עד קנות on the corners of the מזבח. איסור לחג means tying it down. באכילה ושתייה, שקורא לחג עונג, במאכל ומשתה, ויש אומרים, and some say, יום שלאחר החג, the day after, that's the source for איסור חג. בעבותים is behemot avot ushminot. That's what it was, with thick animals, nice fatty animals, which means eating the next day. So the second shot, so the first shot is abotim. No, abotim, the second shot, that Isru Hag is the day after, means tie yourself down and eat. Isru Hag ba'abotim, eat nice thick animals. And if you do that, ad kanat mezbeach, it's like you're serving a korban. That's a two pshatim in Rashi.
It kind of makes sense if itself makes sense. If you would say whatever, you have to bring the
yeah, there you go. So this is the source. Okay, we have to account for the last week of the month of Nissan. And the last week is as follows. Before we do it, any guesses? What is the last week of Nissan? It's also holidays. The answer is Binyan Bet HaMikdash Shelishi. Mashiach is going to come. Mashiach is going to come. Sheyibaneh b'mihra b'yameinu yeh b'yom tov shel Pesach. Mashiach is going to come on Pesach. Kebinisan and Galu b'Nisan adadim ligael. And as it says, Ki me'esetecha me'eretz Yisrael me'enu niflaot. V'chanukat Bet HaMikdash shetiyeh nemshechet shiv'at yamim will only start after Pesach. Well, we cannot. Yeah, 12 Nisim, Isru Hag for the Nisim, 7 days of Pesach, Isru Hag of Pesach, and then 7 days of Hanukat Bet HaMikdash Shilishi. We're already celebrating it now before it even happens. Now, we don't know, it can come, Mashiach can come, let's say the 14th of Nisan, but we're not going to do the Hanukat and Bet HaMikdash until Pesach's over, because we don't mix the Simcha with the Simcha. So,
we do know that
it's a tradition. So there are those who say he's literally coming the first or the second day of Pesach. So you have to wait, and you have to do the inauguration after Pesach. But Hanukat Bet HaMikdash will be after Pesach. You cannot mix two simachot. Nimsa comes out. שכל ימי חודש ניסן מקודשים לימי שמחה וששון לישראל. לכן אין ראוי לומר וידוי. The whole month is holidays. It's past holidays, it's present holidays, and it's future holidays. That's what Nisan is. Right? The first 13 days will happen then. And then we have 7-8 days, which is now, Pesach, and then the future. That's Nisan. Let's get with that. Now, there is a mahloket, whether this is talking about, and this, we're definitely not going to do this. I want to do this one day in depth. The Bavitch Rebbe has a whole sikha on this. What are we talking about? If there's two ways the Beit HaMikdash can be destroyed. It can be built by men or by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And so maybe this is talking about if Hashem does it, but maybe if we build the Beit HaMikdash, it's not necessarily in this timeline. It's a whole discussion. The Lubavitch Rebbe says that mahloket is talu in exactly the other mahloket. Lubavitch Rebbe says it says the Beit HaMikdash is going to be built in fire, but Hashem's going to send it down in fire, and then it says we're building it brick by brick. Which one is it?
So we're building it smart.
Or we're actually going to build it. Yeah. So he says it's the same exact mahloket.
But can we don't use
if Hashem does it early, if it comes early, like the whole Be'ita Achishena, we'll do it one time.
How do you build it?
People think they found the Shamir already. But the Hilazon and then they found. And so it's a whole mahloket.
Some people said that's in
Yeah, there was one in New Jersey. Yeah, there was also one in New Jersey. But anyway, this is why Nisan. So if someone asks you why there's no Tahanu in Nisan, you have the answer. Past, present, future. Okay? But the best part is the Mashiach part. We're already celebrating.
Right. He's very adamant that Zohar, the Maharal, the Ramban, and many, many people quote that the Mashiach will come by 200 before the end of the.
Yeah. This is
In reality, 15 years.
so many different calculations.
But that's what he says.
I know, but 6,000 is the end of the end. But then they say we're in Erev Shabbat. The 6,000.
But this particular one gives you the sources.
I know, Moshe, but you got to be very careful.
I don't go for that. I'm just telling you what's the word.
The Gemara says,
There's one thing is for sure.
Tipach atzmotan. Yeah.
It says what did the Chachamim are debating what the Gemara meant by it. If it is a leader,
just have to be.
They said this, but anyway, there's the whole shiur on that.
Yeah.
The point is not that I'm sitting.
We're very close. That's
not that I'm sitting down and begging for it, but on the one hand, we should, because it's one of Shosei Karim. We should believe that it should be here
today.
Right now.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, we're feeling it. We're seeing it. We're literally in the times of Mashiach.
Absolutely. It can come today. Mashiach can come right now. I won't have to go to Denver. No, Habit's Haim, man. I have plenty of suitcases. I don't really need anything anymore. All I need is my phone, and everything else is. Is that you ever hear that British comedian where he's like, they used to bring the maps, they used to bring the flashlight in case they need them, they used to bring encyclopedias. Now you just bring your phone. You got everything. Okay, let's do another halacha. One more. Minhag tov hu lekro bechol yom achel milosh chodesh Nisan perashat hanasi shel oto yom. It's a very nice minhag to read the parasha of the Nasi every one of the 12 days, and the 13th day also. And the 13th day, you read the whole thing from Be'alotecha ad kenasat menorah. V'yesh nogim lekrot pesukim elu metoch sefer Torah. Some have a custom. Nehemiah, when you were in Crown Heights, did you ever see this? The read the Nasim from the Sefer Torah, because he quotes the Alter Rebbe in his Shulchan Aruch that this is what he says here. That he says it's good to do it. I gotta ask my charusa. Yeah, it's a very nice thing to read the Nasiim every single day. And some people do it from a Sefer Torah, but it's not our custom to read from a Sefer Torah. The custom is a Chumash. Achavadia brings a whole back and forth on the bottom here about whether it's good or it's bad to read it from the actual Sefer Torah. There are some who say you should read it from the Sefer Torah, but there's a whole machloket because the Magen Avraham says you cannot take a Sefer Torah and just use it to read. It's actually very interesting back and forth. The Rosh, for example, it says in the Torah, it's a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah, and you and your children should read with it your whole life. It says straight up. But the Rosh says that this mitzvah doesn't apply these days anymore. But as a side point, this whole Sefer Torah thing, it's, in my opinion, it's gone way out of proportion. Like people spending tons of money on Sefer Torah. We have plenty. And many poskim hold it's not a mitzvah anymore these days to Sefer Torah. It's a mitzvah to own a Gemara, Shulchan Aruch. That's the mitzvah.
Okay, going back to Father Pops, he said, don't worry so much about bringing a Sefer Torah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Study, learn Torah.
No, I know that a lot of people don't like this person, but my personal thing is I listen to everybody and I take the good from everybody. So I'm going to quote him, even though people don't like him. Sorry. Rabbi Yossi Mizrahi, he says that in his opinion, the one person who loves this whole fad of writing Sefer Torah for every person who passes away is the Satan. He says that the Satan loves it. Spend all your money on Sefer Torah. The shul's got 15 already. Everyone has to. You're lucky if you get in the rotation, and it's never being used. We don't need it, and instead you have anim and poor people and kollel guys who need money, but we're going to spend it on a book and not on the people. He says he's very strong about it, and I have to say that I actually agree with him. If you go to open a new community in Kansas City where there's no Sefer Torah, okay, so you're in a community already in LA. There's billions of Sefer Torah. We have enough Sefer Torah for the whole year. And so, if anything, at least the mahloket. Use my Torah, use my book. You didn't use my book. It's aggravation. And so take the money and go help people. Yeah. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, everybody wants their book used. Yeah. So take the money and there's a lot of merit to what he says. Take the money and go help people. So, but anyway, you can argue on it. Yeah, yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, but and again, the Rosh holds that the mitzvah does not apply. It's not talking about a Torah anymore these days. No one's learning from a Torah these days. Maybe in the olden days, you used to pull a Torah. They used to say, "Oh wow," and then by heart they have the whole perek of Arbe Pesachim in there. We don't have it anymore. We need a book. We need the books. You can barely get anything from the Sefer Torah with respect. We need the Torah Sheba'al Peh, the oral Torah. We need the books, and so that's the mitzvah. All right. Anyway, I just want to tell you one more thing. Listen to this Kafa Haim. He says, "Minhag tov le'kro bechol yom v'yom peshat hanasi shel zeh hayom." It's very good to read the Nasi every single day. Kol Nasi v'Nasi, every one of the tribal leaders, haya lo sodot gedolot. He had really deep secrets, really deep powers, mystical powers. Shenimshichu shefa haruhaniyut kol echad leshivato kol yemei olam. And on that day, like the day that the tribal leader of Dan brought it, anyone who comes from Dan that day has a special power, shefa, and blessing on that day, that the day of Dan. ובקריאת הפרשה הוא מעורר קדושת היום. I saw the Bavitch Rebbe talks about this a lot also. Bavitch Rebbe said, if you come from that tribe, I learned a sikha once about this with my Charus, my Lubavitch Charusa. The Bavitch Rebbe says, if you read that day and you come from that tribe, it's a very special berachot for you. But we don't know which tribe we're from, so you got to read them all. Although we're probably from Yehuda or Binyamin, and so therefore it's me'orel kedushat hayom uviyom yud gimel v'nisan. On the 13th day, when we read them all, it's for Shevet Levi because Levi didn't come. So Levi, you read the 13th day. This comes from the Shlach Kadosh. One more thing he says. He quotes from Chaim Palaji, and he says as follows: it's very good to give coins to tzedakah after you read the Nesi'im. What does he say? If you do this, you give tzedakah on behalf of the Nasi of that day, Elisu ben Shedeud, you give it for him, as well as or she'ar kirovim, any other relatives that you may have that are deceased, you give it in their merit. Or be'ad kol nefashot met mi'Yisrael, anyone who died, you give the coins. By doing this, she'ichavim b'netina zu, if you have kavanah that it's for their merit, ya'aseh chesed l'machayim v'hametim, you're going to do a great kindness with them. V'hem keneged gimel nefesh ruach neshama shelahem, you give 3 coins after the Nesi'im for the nefesh, for the ruach, and the neshama of the person. And then you put 3 coins in the. Yeah.
And then you give 3 coins tzedakah for gimel.
For the nefesh, ruach, neshama of this Nasi, yeah, the Nasi, plus anyone else that you may have lost, that you can think of. Ubitziruf yud gimel yamim, and if you do this for all 13 days, 3 coins a day times 13 days is 39. Yeah, keheshbon tal. 39 is very powerful. The mechayim metim, when Hashem brings back the dead, it's going to be with the tal. The dew is going to wake them up. That's this tal. Ki tal orot talecha. So that's very powerful. V'im yosif od b'yom yudaled. If you keep it going on the 14th of Nisan, Erev Pesach, then it's 14 times 3, which is 42. And 42 is gimel yadayim. 3 times the word yad. Yad is 14 times 3 is 42. And by Yetziat Mitzrayim, Erev Pesach, we're talking about Yad HaGedolah, Yad HaGibura, Yad Ramah. You want to tap into all 3 of the yads, then they have to build up all 14 days times 3. And if you do it on the next day, I don't know when though. Next day is Pesach. I'm not sure. I mean, he says Vimi Yosif Od. Maybe give another 3 after that on the same another Pesach. I don't know.
Say
Yeah, it's a var. If you Yosif Od Gimel, then you have Ma. Ma also, if you learn the Hasidic books, Ma is it's a person. Ma is a person.
And this
I'm going to tell you right now. V'yizkeh ha'alotam. You're going to merit to lift up these souls. Afilu leha'omedim b'gilgul behema or be'ofot or be'esev hasadeh. Even, God forbid, if someone is tied up in a gilgul as an animal or anything like this, you can bring them up. V'zeh ma'adam. Ken katab b'sefer ma'etz, and also kaveh ashad mo'ed l'chol hai, which is Kaf Hayim Palaji. We don't have that book here, but I have it in my house. Kaf Hayim Palaji writes this as well. And so therefore, two things we got here today. Number one, the month of Nisan, the whole month is Geulah, the whole month is holidays. Number two, the Nisim is very powerful. The Sefer Torah, there are many people who hold you should not. It comes to the Gemara Yerushalayim. Oh, that's what I was trying to say before. I'll wrap up with this. You'll find this interesting, I think. The Magen Avraham writes that the custom was that they would take out the Avraham Siv. They would read the Sefer Torah. Avraham Siv, you can't read the Targum in there, but they would read the Mikra for when Shabbat Hatan. We did it yesterday. When you have a Shabbat Hatan, we read the Pesukim. They would read it from the actual Sefer Torah. And so I don't know exactly what the Magen Avraham is talking about, because it sounds like they did it even on weekdays. So maybe they read it before the wedding, because we do it on Shabbat. But he writes here that only on Monday and Thursday you should take out the Sefer Torah for the Avraham Siv. But if it's any other day of the week, don't read it from the Sefer Torah. The Magen Avraham doesn't like the custom. Why? Because only Monday and Thursday are days designated for Sefer Torah, and we already took a book out and we made blessings on it. It seems from the Gemara Yerushalmi is a mahloket Yerushalmi and Babli, the main mitzvah of Birchat HaTorah, Al Divrei Torah, which many hold is Deoraita, right? Birkat Hamazon, everyone holds is Deoraita, and the only other one that's maybe Deoraita is Birkat HaTorah. It's a mahloket, right? The question is, what is the main blessing of Birkat HaTorah? According to the Bavli, it's what we do every single morning in Birkat HaShahar. All the Birkat, the whole set. Yeah?
Oh, that's part of the whole set is considered.
It's Birkat HaTorah. Yeah, at the end of it, it's Birkat HaTorah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Did I not say that?
You said the whole set.
No, it's a shidduch. Birkat HaTorah. Yeah. So according to the yeah. So the Bavli, according to the Bavli, what we do in the morning would be, if you hold it's Deoraita, that would be the Deoraita. But according to Yerushalmi, it's reading the Torah in Shul, in the Tzibur, and making the Beracha. That's the Deoraita. So it seems, according to the Yerushalmi, if you would take out a Sefer Torah randomly to read it, and you would not bless on it, you're oved in the Misvat Aseh, because you should have blessed. You understand the logic? So according to Yerushalmi, Shabbat, we already did the blessing that day on Sefer Torah. Yeah, this is what Magen Avraham saying. But on a day where you didn't take the Torah out and make a blessing on it, no one blessed on the Torah today, and you're going to take it out and not bless on it, you have a Mechiyuv Deoraita according to the Shalmi to bless on the Torah. And so, B'kitzur, the Magen Avraham says, don't read from the Torah. But then they bring the Arizal. The Rav Chaim Vital writes in Shaarey Kavanot, the Arizal used to read Shnai Mikra from the Sefer Torah, which, by the way, I think also proves that he did the Targum at one shot, because otherwise he's going from one to one. But you could do it one shot. So Arizal did it from the Sefer Torah, and so it's a big mahloket. So it's probably better off not to do it. But like I said, the Admon HaZaken, the Alter Rebbe, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, he writes in Shulchan Aruch, he quotes here, I haven't checked it, but it's good to do it. Anyway, those are the mitzvot. Don't forget to do the Nesiim and give some tzedakah, and we'll catch you all later.
Wait, we have some time.